excited that you have decided to join us today. Today's topic is free speech. Should people be free to say anything? I hope to hear a lot of great opinions from you, and I'll be with you in just a hot second. And we're live! Welcome to English Spot. My name is Jack and I will be your host / instructor because it is a lesson after all. And I'm just so excited that you decided to join us today for this communication skills class where I help you develop academic discussion skills. Today's topic is very exciting. We're talking about free speech. I hope that you have read the questions that were posted on my website. And if not, that is okay because I will show you all the relevant questions on the screen. And if you're joining us right now, we are live on Discord. The link is in the video description. So I hope you can join us right now on our Discord server and be a part of this exciting lesson. I believe this is a historical moment. I've never heard of a teacher streaming regularly lessons that students can log into and just jump into from all over the world and participate. So I'm going to take that title. So I think if you want to be a part of this lesson, great. Just join the Discord server and you will find us there in a public stage. You will be able to join us right now. And tell your friends, if anyone is learning English and they want to practice, well, this is the best place to be. 3 times a week. I try to stream 3 times a week at the same time. And you can also visit my Twitch channel to see the schedule tab. And that schedule tab will give you the schedule of the upcoming streams, live streams, adjusted to your time zone. So this way you will never miss, the better way not to miss any broadcasts is to follow the channel, of course. And this way you will always be notified of whenever I go live. But enough of me talking now. Let's see how you guys are doing. And actually, I can hear the school bells ringing. I think it's time to start our lesson. And I hope you're feeling great today. This is how I'm feeling.
Wow, I feel good.
All right, this is how I'm feeling. And I hope you're feeling great too. Today, we are talking about free speech. First of all, let me bring up our, I want to give a shout out to our server who is kind enough to be hosting these lessons. So guys, if you are not on the English Hub yet, you need to join this Discord server. It's a great place to meet friends, to practice your English. There are many active voice chats where you can just jump in. They are divided into levels. You can go into the beginner voice chat or the advanced voice chat, or you can create your own room where you can start a discussion of your own. A great place to be, a nice community. Look, we've just surpassed 8,000 users, so you can meet people from all over the world. All right, guys, so I hope you are already a part of that server. And if you're not, and if you're here in just visiting, well, why don't you do that? In a moment, I'll ask you to be a part of our discussion. But first of all, let me just bring up our questions just to refresh. If anyone has never read them before, the questions will be put up on the screen in just a minute. All right, here we go. Okay. And if you're in the chat, say hi. We are live on on twitch.tv/EnglishSpot. We are also live on Facebook, and we are also live on YouTube. So if you are in any of these on these platforms, say hi. All right, guys. And now what you can see here is the post on my website with all the questions. I usually try to post these questions at least a day or 2 in advance so that students can read the questions, prepare their answers, and of course, post additional questions. And this is the case today because if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you will see that the user Lotoya has submitted another question, which we will try to incorporate into the lesson. So I always encourage students to post questions as well. So you can be a part of this lesson as well by posting great questions for the discussion. And the discussion is on free speech, right? Should people be free to say anything? In addition, just before always whenever I post a new stream announcement, I ask you, the audience, this question, the key question, right? And today's key question is, should people be free to say anything? And as you can see, this was posted on the YouTube announcement, and it seems like 80% of the viewers have responded yes, that people should be free to say anything. However, 20% of you believe that it's not the case, and I really hope to see that difference. I hope we have a great discussion on this particular topic. So let's look at the questions. The questions are, first of all, how important is freedom of speech to you? That's a very easy question to open up with. Have you ever been told to be quiet? How did that feel? Explain. Maybe you were told never to talk about a certain topic, and maybe you felt that you were limited in some way. Tell us what happened. Question number 2. Does pure freedom of speech improve society, or does it make it worse? All right, I think this is a controversial issue, and that's probably getting at the heart of what we're talking about. So try to provide supporting details to explain your answer. Okay, this is really important. It's not just that we have an opinion, but let's provide some examples or reasoning for our opinions, and this is really important in whenever we have an academic discussion going. And question number 3. See, many countries censor information available on the internet or in the media to control what their citizens can or cannot access. So what do you think about that practice? Can censorship be dangerous? Support your view. Again, I'm looking forward to hearing your opinions, but also your rationale for your opinions. Question number 4. Some of those who wish to limit free speech have been heard saying the following. So what they're saying, they are accused of being intolerant because they want to shut down the opposing views. However, they are saying, no, I'm not intolerant. I'm only intolerant of the intolerance that is found in those views I want to shut down. So do you agree with that view or not? Or is it just a replacement of one intolerance with another kind of intolerance? I hope you have something interesting to share on these topics. And then finally, question 5, not finally, but question 5 is, should there be any limits on what we are free to say or not? And what should those limits be? Who should be deciding these limits? Should it be the law, or should these limits be self-imposed? Well, support your view. And of course, our questions submitted by our one of you guys, which is great. And this is a very interesting question. Many big platforms such as YouTube or Discord require users to agree to community guidelines to gain access. So those guidelines have limits, right? And basically they are not allowing you to use certain language. Harassment, hate speech, cyberbullying, and so. So what do you think about, is this a violation of free speech, yes or no? I hope that one of the leaders will be interested in discussing this question. And speaking of discussions, well, guys, there is a worksheet that you can download which will help you discuss questions, which will help you with your toolbox for discussions. A healthy discussion consists of several aspects. And a good discussion panel is able to use these tools. So, for example, things like confirming meaning. It's important to confirm what the person has just said so that we can respond adequately, right? So here are the expressions for you. Are you saying that free speech should be limited or shouldn't be limited? Please clarify. Giving verbal feedback really helps the discussion to move it along, because the speakers are able to feel that they are heard. And, oh, really? Yes, I see. Oh, great. Even simple just moves the conversation forward. Now, the most important ingredient of giving of any discussion is giving opinions. So phrases such as, yes, I feel that, in my opinion, freedom of speech is the most important issue we're facing right now. or personally speaking, I believe that freedom of speech is low on the priority list. And then, of course, the leaders especially will be encouraged to ask for an opinion, right? So what do you think about that? And actually call out to people individually to get them engaged in the discussion. Does anybody else have anything else to add? What do you think about question number 3? These are the phrases I'm hoping you to be using. And then responding. It's important to acknowledge the opinion that was given. So that's an interesting point. That's a great idea. That's yes, I see. That's a good point. I never thought of that. Let's acknowledge the opinions of others. And of course, if you agree, say so. Agree with the speaker. Say, yes, I completely agree with you. Yes, I think so too. Exactly. But sometimes we disagree, and that's okay too. And we have to be honest about that. That's part of the discussion. So you may say, yes, I see your point, but have you thought about the other side? Have you thought about those who disagree and what they are saying? And if you completely disagree, say so as well. I absolutely disagree with you, but provide rationale why. And of course, our summarizer at the end is going to say a few points that he or she thinks are noteworthy. So things like, okay, so far we've said that freedom of speech is a part of human rights, or there seems to be some disagreement in our group, and then explain the details. All right, well, I hope we're all on the same page, and we are almost ready to jump into our discussions. Wonderful. Let me bring up the questions again, and we are going to ask volunteers to be a part of our first round of discussions. All right, here we go. Where is the wheel of names? Okay. All right, everyone. So as you can see, we have our wheel of names on the screen. We are going to be asking for volunteers. So is anyone interested? I see a lot of hands raised in our group. That's wonderful. Let's see. First of all, we have Eva. Hello, Eva. Would you like to be a part of this discussion? Hello, Eva. You have to unmute yourself. Hi, Eva. Great. Okay, I'll putting down your name as one of the discussion panelists. Thank you. So don't go away. Stick around. Next, we have Aquafina. Hello, Aquafina. Aquafina, how are you today? Hello, Aquafina.
It's hello.
Hi there. Hi. Yes. Okay. What would you like to be called today in our discussion group?
Just Aquafina.
Aquafina.
One of the most classic bottle name.
Yes. You are essential to life. Water is essential to life. Thank you. I'm glad you joined us here today. Gun Gramier is returning for another round. Gun Gramier, welcome. How are you today? Oh, I see there's something wrong with your microphone. I hope you can fix that. Yes, I'm sorry, Gun. I hope you can come back with your mic working properly. Okay, and we have Mainu. Hello, Mainu. Would you like to be a part of this discussion on freedom of speech or free speech? Hello, Mainu. Okay. Kenzo. Hi, Kenzo. We'll try Kenzo. Kenzo, hello. Oh, nice to have you here again. I'm putting you down unless you don't want to be a part of the discussion. I believe you do, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that's wonderful. Okay, that's wonderful. It's a great practice for you. And we have someone called Baba Yaga. Hello, Baba Yaga. Are you interested in being a part of this discussion?
A man of culture.
A man of culture with a very sophisticated name, Baba Yaga. Okay, that's great. I believe it's a name of a character in a fairy tale.
Baba Yaga.
Hi.
Yes, Russian fairy tale. It's
a Russian fairy tale. Mainu, yes, I can hear you now. Would you like to be a part of this discussion group?
Yeah, obviously.
Okay, very good, Mainu. I'm glad your mic is working.
hello.
Excellent. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, was Gun Gramier working? Is your microphone working?
Yes, it's now working.
Okay, Gan, so I'll add you, and I think we are kind of full right now. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, we have 6 members. Very good. Guys, don't go away because I hope that you can participate. Great, guys. But the others, while you're listening, be ready and prepare your answers because I will call soon for round 2 and round 3. So stick around if you want to be a part of this lesson. Well, let's choose our leader for this round. Okay.
Let's go.
Who will it be? Who will it be? Okay. Hey, Baba Yaga, you're the leader. Are you familiar with what's required?
No, sir.
Okay.
Not familiar.
Okay. Let me just explain. The leader's job is to make sure that there's no silence, that everyone is engaged more or less equally, and that includes pointing to people and asking their opinion on the question. And also, you have the freedom of choosing which question to address. Okay. So I hope you're watching the Twitch screen. Are you watching the Twitch channel right now?
No.
Oh. Okay, because the leader
Currently,
has...
I am.
Yeah,
Currently, I am.
Yes, okay, everyone needs to be watching the Twitch screen because that's where I am live interacting and I show you the questions on the screen.
What's your Twitch name?
Yes, so if anyone can click on my profile and you will see the Twitch link there. But for you who are auditory learners, it's twitch.tv/English Spot. English Spot, S-P-O-T.
Okay. How about YouTube?
Oh, and YouTube? YouTube is also linked to my profile on Discord. So all you have to do is just click on my profile and you will see the links there.
Okay, so is it okay if I don't have a Twitch account?
Yes, that's fine. Anybody can watch Twitch channels even if they don't have an account. Yes, of course.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Thanks.
Okay, so great. Now we're going to select our timekeeper. Here we go. Who is it going to be? And it's Aquafina. Congratulations, Aquafina. All right, just to explain to everyone, if this is your first time here, the timekeeper's job is to watch the clock, watch the timer, and just make sure that the conversation is not dragging on. Of course, they participate just like everyone else, right? Everyone participates equally and voices their opinions, but you have an additional role of just watching the clock and maybe sometimes suggesting, oh, maybe we should move on to the next question if the conversation dies down. All right, who is our active participant? Someone who's going to be talking their head off. Okay. And that is gone. All right. You will be in your element today. And another active participant. Let's see. And that's Kenzo. Kenzo, I hope you have a lot of ideas to share. Now let's select our devil's advocate. Devil's advocate is Eva. Okay, just to explain to you guys, the devil's advocate normally discusses the issue as normal. It just voices their opinion and speaks just equally as everyone else. But in case, if the conversation dies down because everyone agrees, let's say everyone says, yes, freedom of speech should be pure and unlimited, then the devil's advocate jumps in and tries to argue the opposite viewpoint, just to propel the discussion forward. Eva, is that clear to you?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay. And then we have Mainu, who is, I'm sure, 100% chance is going to be our summarizer at the end. All right, Mainu, you will be asked to share 2 interesting points that arose during the discussion. But of course, you are participating in the discussion just like everyone else. All right, everyone, are you clear on your roles? And can you see the questions? Let me bring up the questions again on the screen. Oops.
Okay, so I have to summarize the whole conversation of ours?
No. The summarizer just picks up 2 points that maybe were of most interest to the whole discussion. You don't have to do everything. Yeah, just important points or interesting points. All right, everyone, are you ready? Here are the questions. Should people be free to say anything? Talk your head off. Question number 1. Maybe. Let's start with this one, I think. How important is freedom of speech to you? Have you ever been told to be quiet? Tell us what happened. Ready?
Let's go.
Let's go, guys. Round 1 is open.
I've been told to be quiet a lot by my mom, and
Oh.
it gets me very annoyed
Mhm.
because I should be allowed to talk my mind and tell her like what's wrong with me, and she shouldn't be able to tell me to be quiet. It's not really fair.
I see.
I kind
Can
of
you-
agree with that.
Can you
I
provide
see-
some examples, perhaps, of the things that she told you to be quiet about?
Mainly about me. I don't know how to explain it. I like to annoy her a lot because
Oh.
I'm just a very annoying person, and I like to just bring up random things, and she just tells me to be quiet, and I don't like that because I like to talk, and I like to bring up things and that she doesn't like, so she tells me to be quiet. Well, you should just listen and not, tell me to be quiet. Just listen to me and at least be nice.
Okay.
True. And for me, I get been silenced a lot by my classmates and also some of the people in my university because I'm a talkative person in some sense. But I think that is a very bad thing because I'm in an economic school. When you learn economic, the best thing is to share knowledge. If you don't say anything, you will lose a lot of information, and that is going to be a very, very bad thing in the future when you go apply into job and you don't know any knowledge at all. But but also talking, sharing information, free speech is a good way to interact. Most of the time, I just saw people who doesn't talk, who wants me to be silenced. They usually very sad or they are not happy. But when I talk to my friend, they are super happy when they see me. So yeah.
Very interesting views. Okay, then let's keep this going.
For me, free speech, yes, it is very important for me. For me to express myself freely with words. And yes, I have been told to shut up or be silent, but by not only by my parents but also by my peers. But free speech is very important. What's your thought? What's your thought on this, Kenzo?
Okay. I was gonna say something, but I'll let you guys all speak. So, I really think that freedom of speech is really important because if you don't have the right to say anything in whatever situation, then that's obviously not fair. Because if people, let's just say, for example, in an election, right? An election for a school president, let's just say. And so there's this quiet kid wants to be president, but also the popular kid also wants to be president. They're both talking, so each of them should have respect for each other to let the other person talk. Not cut them off. I feel like your word matters. Your words matter. You need to get something out there, then just say it. You shouldn't you shouldn't be blocked by anyone to not say something.
I mean,
I see.
people do have their own opinions, and they should be able to state
Yeah, because
They-
obviously
the differences.
don't say anything rude
Yeah,
to
don't
someone.
say
Be
anything
like,
mean.
yeah, if it's if you want to say something to this person that's positive, then go on and say it. Don't be nervous that they'll react in the way that you don't want them to. You should always have.
I have a opposite side for the thing you said, Kenzo. In terms of free speech, if you have a friend, let's just say they love to talk, but they start to talk about something else, and then or like they talk something, they express their opinion, they express the freedom of their speech so heavily and being influenced by emotions so much. The one thing you will get is very obnoxious about it. Try to with a friend talk like they start to pull the conversation somewhere else, or like they start to like express their opinion so hard that it start to annoy other people. And I think like express free speech is good, but express it in a limited space, or like at least follow up the conversation, not like just pulling somewhere else or being influenced by emotion so much. It will lead to a very, very difficult situation of arguing.
I think
This is what
we
happened.
should just try to control the situation and just let them speak their mind instead of just trying to shift the conversation, and then they will notice and like try to get mad at you for that. So I think
Well,
True. True.
Freedom of speech. I think freedom of speech is very important, but you should have the right to talk about anything. You should have right to talk about express your feelings. But when it comes to express your feelings, you should have been careful what you were expressing, because if someone get hurt by you, that's your fault. Yeah, of course you should have been. Of course you should have the freedom of speech. Of course you should have the right to anything or everything you want to say. But what you are gonna say, that's up to you. I mean, that's up to us. We can say anything, but we can't hurt anyone. We don't want to hurt anyone. So I think that should keep in our mind when we're talking to someone. But yeah, I think the most important thing is freedom of speech.
I see. So generally our generally our answer in the first question is yes. Freedom of speech is important to an extent. So yeah.
Yeah,
And,
there's a limit.
Yes, and
Yes,
pulling now we're gonna go more detail with the second question.
All right, then let's move on.
Yeah, the second question: does pure freedom of speech improve society, or does it make it worse? Provide supporting details to explain your answer. So
oh, that makes it worse.
Well, that goes both
that
ways.
makes
Okay.
it worse.
yeah,
Like
in my opinion. Oh, sorry. You go on first.
like
please,
you
Eva.
know, like slurs, like the F slur, and to the LGBTQ community, it hurts them to say for people to say that. So it goes limits, but it goes in both ways. So yeah.
Yeah,
I would
agree.
say-
I see.
I would say like
okay.
pure freedom of speech is good, but like in some economic aspect, like political economic aspect, is very bad. Donald Trump is an infamous case for this because he likes to talk freedom of speech so much, but he kind of abused it a little bit, leading to leaks about the political stuff about US and making it worse. So that's my take on it. I would say I would be neutral because of that example. I will explain more in the question 3. Yeah, I would say more in the question 3.
Sure. Okay.
Okay, go grammar, speak your mind.
So yeah, my take on this is like Aquafina. Sorry. My take on it is also neutral. It is for me. It's both beneficial and counterproductive. An example I could give for beneficial is the spread of what do you call it? The spread of democracy through revolutions. It started with free speech in coffee houses. So yeah, that's an example of free speech in a positive way, and in a negative way, an example is when people know too much, that they start to panic. I don't have any specific example, but
Hi guys, do you
There is
request time extension? Do you need more time?
Yes.
Yes, please.
Okay,
Sure,
that's
sure,
great.
sure.
Okay.
always.
Some
So,
stuff should
yeah.
be kept to yourself because other people like to spread things, and
Oh, okay, I see.
A lot of people
so a
like
lot of stuff. It isn't. There's
just
a lot of bad people in the world. A lot of stuff could be spread to yourself if you like spread pure stuff about your how do you believe things and how your family stuff. You can't just spread that. It's
especially
not
on social
their
media.
business, is what I'm trying to say.
I see.
Yeah.
I see.
Um,
You Kenzo, what's your take on the question?
so a big example for this going both ways is Twitter. A lot of people spit their opinions. A lot of people disagree. That's when arguments start to kick in. Now, people should have the right to say something, but don't put it in a,
To a certain extent.
yeah, because at the same time, you speaking your mind, it's great, but someone disagreeing it and then talking to you and then an argument start to kick in could get worse.
That's
You know,
Basically,
And-
don't push.
In the flipping
No.
yeah, just respect their opinion, respect their disagreement, and then we can set off. We don't have to continue talking. You know,
All right.
I mean, yeah, we both got our opinions out. So.
Okay.
All right, guys, let's talk more detail about in question 3 because question 2 we are very neutral on this.
Okay. Question 3. Many countries censor information available on the internet and in the media to control what their citizens can and cannot
Just
access.
people say too much on the internet. They like
Oh,
to spread
yeah,
their
there's-
mind on the internet,
Good.
and it's bad.
Yeah, because they have they have the power of anonymity when they are in the internet, because you have the power of anonymity of your device. So I think people freely say what's in their mind when they are in the internet. But
because IRL.
but I think I think the main reason why governments censor information on the internet, I think it's again, like, it's for it could be for public safety, to prevent panic, like what I said on the second question. So that's my
Yeah.
opinion.
For me, this is a very good question. I will say neutral to positive, in a term where it's good that the government start to doesn't spread very bad information or false information. Like I'm in a country that is easily panicked with just one false news of COVID pandemic. Yeah, this is a very serious case, and one guy can just blew up and spread false
Yeah.
information.
COVID
So it's good that
an example.
yes. So it's good that if the government control correct information, it doesn't spread it to an extent that can cause massive panic. It's good, but stopping the free speech of an opinion about something that is normal is not a great idea. So I would say it's neutral to positive on this one.
So
Eh.
yeah, how about you, Kenzo?
Okay. Hold on. I need to look at the question.
So, if you're asking for the question, I'll just reread it for you. Many countries censor information available on the internet and in the media to control what their citizens can and cannot access. Can censorship be dangerous? What's your view? So that's the question. What's your
Okay,
opinion?
so yes, there's a lot of things that needs to be censored because the public doesn't need to know some of this stuff. There's a lot of stuff that we don't, that us, even the audience, that even I don't know, that the government and different areas keep away from us. But that also helps us suspect things and then talk our mind off. And that's when freedom of speech kicks in. What I'm trying to say is, it's better to censor things on the internet because the internet can be a dark place. So it's better to censor these things, keep, because like kids get curious. So like, and then like, kids don't ask to see all this stuff, and people still post it out with not knowing.
Dude, I like this point. Yes, kids can be very curious and very proactive on this, and they know that they are young. They don't understand much stuff. This is a very very good case with the Logan Paul and Jake Paul situation. But now, yeah, things are just start to be different. So, all right, I think we need to move to the question number 4 because this is very,
sorry, but
I'm
we
sorry.
are out
I'm
of
sorry.
time. We are out of time,
All right.
guys.
30 seconds.
okay,
I'm sorry, I dragged it.
Okay.
Wow,
yeah.
that was great, guys. That was great.
Thank you. Alex.
Yeah, what an awesome discussion. Okay, very useful and productive. Okay, just a second, guys. I think we lost our leader halfway through. He was able to rejoin, but I'm not sure if he was able to take part in the discussion. But anyway, we appreciate. I appreciate all of you and your points. Now let's before we go any further, let's ask our summarizer, Mainu. Are you here? Hello, Mainu. Hello,
Menu.
Mainu. Oh, sorry,
Menu.
Mainu. I'm sorry, Mainu. Hello, are you here? Because you were supposed to.
If you will summarize, I can.
Yes. I was hoping that Mainu could summarize, but if in that case, Kenzo, you can summarize. Maybe bring up two points that maybe were the most important ones or most interesting ones to you, and share them with the audience.
Well, the most two interesting facts was from Eva and I think Gun Grammar.
Mm-hmm.
So what Gun Grammar said in I think question 2. So I think what you were saying is
Hello, Kenzo.
Kenzo,
I think we
did
lost Kenzo for-
something happened to you, Kenzo?
Yes, but something might have happened to his mic.
Okay, well that's too bad. Oh yeah.
For me,
there he is. Kenzo's
Oh,
back.
okay, yeah, it is. Yeah, you
what
lost
happened?
connection.
Kenzo's back.
You lost connection. You lost. Connection.
I don't know what happened.
It's okay. It's okay.
It was interesting.
Please continue.
It cut you out in the most interesting part. We were just like,
Yeah.
we were all ears waiting for what you're going to say.
Okay, I guess I'll also repeat myself.
Sure.
So actually, I'm just skip to the censorship one because that was one of my favorite questions. So Aqua and I think mostly agreed that like minors shouldn't be knowing most of this stuff. That's why we go to school. That's why we learn. That way we have a bigger mind to understand all the things that are gonna pop out on the internet. So that's why you should go on the internet with caution.
yes.
And
Okay.
for question 1, being told to be quiet and stuff like that, shouldn't be right. I'm pretty sure we all agree that somebody should be able to speak off their mind, and not saying like they talk a lot, but they should be able to say their opinion, get it out, and then we can discuss, kind of like this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's great.
And English palette, I have one very interesting quote about
You can
free
just
speech
call
for
me. You just call me Jack, okay? Jack is good.
Jack.
Yes. mhm.
Jack in the box.
Yes, there you go.
Alright,
I'm Jack in
I like that.
the box. Here we go.
All
Yes.
right, so I would say one thing that is from a YouTuber named IWCV. He said this: "It's good to have a good freedom of speech. However, you need to have a critical thinking, else you would be controlled by your emotion and you will talk. You will exploit the free speech in a negative way." That is his quote, and I like it so much for this topic.
So I think critical thinking is exactly what I'm trying to teach you guys here as well through these lessons, and that's why I choose these topics. And I think, I agree with that quote. But the question is, now whether the free speech is going to increase critical thinking or not, whether they are related or not, or should we just make sure that critical thinking skills are being developed as free speech is exercised, or should free speech be limited?
It goes to a certain extent.
Yes.
Yeah, each question had both ways. Really.
Really? Okay. All right, guys. So listen, I really appreciate your views. That's awesome. But I just want to, because this is an English lesson, let's just go back a little and ask you the participants about how they did. So let's now switch our minds off the topic. Now let's just focus a little bit on how the discussion went. Were you satisfied with your performance? Were you able to clearly communicate your ideas? And so that focus first of all on the positive, and then maybe mention something that you could have improved if you were given a chance to do this again. Who wants to go first?
The positive. The
I would
positive
say,
for me. You want to go ahead, Aqua?
I can go first because I checked my note here.
Okay, go
I
ahead.
think I mentioned so many details that I forgot to be simple about a topic. That's why when I say something about my information, a lot of people will start to like, oh wait, what is he talking about? He doesn't figure it out what I'm talking. So I think I need to practice more on being summarized or like be simple about my information.
You know
So
what?
that's
This
one.
is a
And
great
two-
point. And one more. Okay, go ahead.
And I think I'm being very positive about leading the examples and giving out key information for what I'm going to say, which is very, very a hard thing to do, So I think I am managing very well on that.
Very good.
But I need to be more simple, so like I can say something so people can understand. That's all.
Very good. I think these points are excellent, but let me just, I think, rephrase, if I may, one of your points, which is it's not that you need to be simple, but perhaps just focus on one point at a time instead of going from one point to another. And if when you do that, it's really hard for the listener to respond to that, right? Because they don't know which part they need to respond right now to, right?
Yes.
Okay, so
And
yes.
digest, yeah.
So just stick to one point, give an example, and let the others respond to that, and then move on to another one. Great, excellent points. Anybody else? How did you do?
I talk too much.
Well, listen, focus on the positive first, and then the negative.
Okay.
Don't be so hard on
I
yourself.
did good is, I was an active participant, so I did my job. I wasn't able to fully think before I was able to speak, so I just was speaking and I carried on. But the negative, I really feel like I didn't give anyone any time to speak.
It's okay.
Sorry.
Okay, no problem. That's okay.
Anyway, long story short, I really feel I don't know how to explain it. I just didn't feel proud about this one.
Oh, you didn't? You did so well. Plus, you had some technical difficulties, I believe. So
Yeah.
I think you did
And
really
maybe I
well.
should probably work on summarizing more.
Yeah, so try to, I think maybe it goes for many of you. Try to be more economical with your language. That means say more with fewer words, right? So that, but that's a skill. It takes a while to develop it, and that's why we're practicing it. That's great. Okay, one more person, maybe. Can you share your? Can you reflect? Yes. Go ahead. Okay, Eva.
Okay,
let's
you
ask
do it,
Eva,
Eva,
and
you do
let's
it.
do both of you. Let's Eva first, and then Gun. Okay.
Okay.
So Eva, can you reflect? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm going. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just this is my first time doing this.
Yes, great. Congratulations.
So I know I
Woohoo!
talk so much.
You get special sound effects. Wow!
Never done this before, and I think I did decent for my first time. I don't know. I think I just needed more talking.
Yeah.
Trust me, I was the same way when I first did this.
Yes, well, I can see the repeaters are improving, and this is your first time, Eva, and I'm just glad you did it. Okay, that's awesome. Right.
Eva, I think to fix that, just like join sometime, like invite a friend or like a person in Discord here to jump with you, and then we talk about normal stuff, no other topics, so you can practice not repeating words. That's how I like, avoid mixing a lot of words and repeating some of the random words that I spoke out, and others just start to noticing. So that's
Good
my
advice.
take.
Good advice. Good advice.
Yeah.
And Gun, you wanted to say about your performance a few words about that?
So yeah, like the positive thing is that I improved my efficiency in language. The last lesson that I attended, I was like Kenzo. I am always like giving examples and lingering in the topic, uh, and trying to deliver my point with a lot of words. Now I tried applying your advice, which is to keep it economical, simple, and direct. So I tried to follow uh, that way of speaking in this discussion, and I feel that I have improved, unlike last time that I
That's
am
great.
like hoarding the mic. So the negative thing um, that I
Maybe let's
still
say
have,
not negative, but something that you could work on, right?
yeah, there's something that I could work on, is that uh, I always say the words when I'm speaking. So I am. It's like I'm constantly constructing multiple sentences. So I am.
Ah.
Yeah, like I'm trying to.
Uh-huh.
That was the error.
Verbal feedback. Uh-huh. I see.
Yes, groups. This is what we call a building a project. This is what my university start to like teach us in order to think fast and give us the best example. I think you need to participate in a project called or a subject called project design. It helps you to stop thinking multiple things at once and focus on the main stuff. This is
Yes.
how I also stopping like repeating multiple example and leading the conversation to a different one that is not related.
Let me just address, Gan, if that's okay. Let me just address those
Sure,
fillers.
sure.
Those fillers, they are not necessarily bad. Okay, let me try and explain. Well, by using these fillers, you are indicating to the audience that you are not finished. You are still talking. Okay, it is better to have a filler in there, in English anyway, because we're in our Western culture, wherever the English is used. Usually silence is not really tolerated well, right? Silence means I'm done, I'm ready, I can jump in and take over the conversation. So the fillers can help let your audience know that you're still talking. So it's better to have a filler than have a side. If you cannot increase the speed of your thinking, then at least use a filler to let your audience know that you are not done yet. Okay? Of course, maybe excessive fillers may be annoying, but they're not necessarily bad. Okay.
Okay.
All right, that's great. Okay.
So I need to work on like my thoughts, I guess.
Well, that comes with practice, and it depends on the topic, right? Some topics are easier to talk about, others are more complicated, more abstract. I think this topic is really challenging, and you guys did so well. And also, I post questions in advance so that you have that chance of kind of formulating your views, maybe writing out some expressions that you want to use in the discussion in advance. Well, this was amazing. Now it's the time for feedback from the teacher. Okay. Yes, feedback from the teacher. Guys, this first round of discussions was amazing, okay? It was great. I think you stayed on topic. You stayed close to the question. even though we lost our leader left for some, something happened there.
Yes, actually my browser got crashed.
Oh,
so
you
I
got,
can't
yes. So
do-
you see, there was a technical issue, but what I'm commending the group for is that they didn't fall apart, even though there was no leader for a while there. So that's a great thing. I also think that you used some of the strategies. Clarification was used, verbal feedback was used, and you were trying to build on each other's views, which was great. The only thing that I would maybe improve would be to try to be more assertive and really use up the time to its, use up the time, as much time as you can, most efficiently, right? So, and I really like that there was a transition going from question to question. Yes, I would also hope that everyone would participate. So there were some of you that were not participating as much as others, but that I think sometimes cannot be helped. I really give you probably 9 out of 10 for this one. Well done, well done. Yes, good job, guys. Thank you. I hope it's useful feedback. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we're not done yet because we're going into our round 2. Right, round 2 of discussions. Let me bring out the wheel of names, and we are going to choose our panelists for round 2. Thank you. All right.
That's our cue to leave.
Yeah, no, it's not. You don't have to leave. Okay, please stick around. Sometimes what happens is we are short on volunteers, and then you can go the second round. And of course, there's a discussion going on in the classes chat on this topic. So please join the discussion. Again, thank you so much, guys. You are so great. All right, raise your hand if you want to be a part of this discussion. Barney, hello, Barney.
Hiya.
Sorry, who was that?
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
Hello, Barney. Would you like to be a part of this discussion on free speech?
Sure.
Okay, Barney,
Seems like an
excellent.
interesting topic.
All right, I'm going to add you to the queue. All right, then we also have
Let's get Noya.
Noya. Where's Noya? Okay, Noya. Hello, Noya. How are you?
I'm
Noya.
very exciting.
Hello, Noya.
Hello.
Hi, Noya. Would you like to be
Hello,
a part
Noya.
of this discussion?
Sure,
Yes.
to be honest, it's sure.
Excellent. Okay, very good. We also have
Konha. Konha.
Konda.
Konda.
Got a
Okay,
classic.
Konda.
Got a classic.
Konda, would you like to be a part of this discussion?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, excellent. Now, welcome to the panel. What about
That's
you?
my name.
Who was that?
Oh, it's Sapphire.
Sapphire. Okay, Sapphire. You can add yourself, can't you?
Yes.
You are there. Okay, so Sapphire, let me add you. Okay, very good. Welcome, Sapphire. Thank you for being actively involved. That's awesome. We need 2 more people. 2 more people. Raise your hand, and we will choose you. How about Cheesy Honey? Cheesy Honey, interesting nickname. Would you like to be a part of this discussion? Hello? Can you unmute your microphone? No, I guess it doesn't work. Pierce, what about you, Pierce? Would you like to be a part of this discussion on freedom of speech? Pierce? Hello? You have to unmute yourself.
Hey.
Let's get Mr. A.
Mr. A? Okay, let's get Mr. A. Mr. A, hello. Would you like to be a part of this discussion?
Oh, come on. 3 of them now?
Well, sometimes, we have to test the technology before we do this, right? So,
How about one of those ones? Jax.
what? Who do you suggest I take in?
Jax.
Jax. Okay, where is Jax? I don't see Jax in the room. Oh, Jax. Okay, here we
hear
go. Hi, Jax.
Hey, Mr.
Mr. Hello, Jax.
Sorry,
Would you
I think my network cut out when I accepted the invitation. That's why it lagged.
Okay, who's speaking now? I'm kind of confused.
Mr. A.
Okay, Mr. A. Okay, you are in if you want to be part of this discussion.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, and we also have someone else. Who else just spoke up right now?
Jackson here.
Jackson, are you here?
Yeah.
Okay, would you like to be a part of this discussion, Jackson?
Yes.
Or Jax? It's not Jackson, Jax. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, excellent. We have 6 participants. Let's select our leader, guys. Are you ready? By the way, it's important. If you're just joining us, we are live on twitch.tv/EnglishSpot. This is where all our questions will be on the screen. So I would like to ask you to head over there. We are selecting our... Yes, so don't disconnect from Discord, but just open a new tab and go to twitch.tv/EnglishSpot. We are selecting our discussion group leader. All right, who is that going to be? And that's Konda. All right, Konda, good, congratulations.
What does the leader do again?
Well, the leader has a choice of going to whichever question they like, and they also, their responsibility is to make sure everyone is more or less equally involved. So that means asking people's opinions and moving on to the next question when the discussion dies down. But of course, you are free to voice your own opinion as well. And now our timekeeper. Who is our timekeeper? Our timekeeper is Jax. Okay, welcome.
Yay.
Jax. Okay. Well, the timekeeper's role is just like anybody else's. You voice your opinions, but you also watch the clock. And in case the conversation dies down, suggest to move on to the next question. Next, let's select our active participant, number 1. That's someone who's going to talk their head off. And that is Mr. A. Okay, I hope you're going to have a lot of things to say. Active participant number 2 is Sapphire. Okay. Sapphire, welcome. Oops. Let me just fix this. Next, we are going to select our Devil's Advocate. Now, the Devil's Advocate's job is special. And that's Noya.
Oh yeah.
Noya, okay. And Barney is going to be our summarizer, but of course, that doesn't mean you don't participate.
Perfect.
You participate as well, equally. Okay, great. Excellent, guys. Can you see the questions? I brought them up on the screen again. Today's topic is, should people be free to say anything? We're talking about free speech. Some questions were already answered, some have not been. Leaders, it's really up to you to choose the question you want to address. And can we start? Are you guys ready?
Yep.
Let's go.
Okay, let's go. Here we go.
Okay, let me try to find the link for the questions. Hold on, where is it?
Okay, it's twitch.tv/EnglishSpot. EnglishSpot, S-P-O-T, spot. Okay.
I know that, but like, don't you have the questions in some website apparently?
Oh yes, I do. Right. So that is called, the website is called, well, it's hard. Are you on Discord? Are you on Discord?
It's
it's in the
class.
classes
You can just
chat.
ping me with the link. You can just ping me with the link.
Yes, it's in classes chat. Okay, thank you so much, guys.
All right.
All right. Well, let's get started. Time is starting right now, guys. All right.
All right. I mean, we can go with the first question itself, right?
Okay, very good.
How
Go.
important is freedom of speech to you? Have you ever been told to be quiet? It's an open mic. Anyone can go.
Yes. Jump in, guys.
May I?
Of course. Yeah, don't ask. Just jump in.
Sure. Personally, I think the freedom of speech is one of the most fundamental mechanisms in a functioning democracy for people to, exchange ideas, opinions, convictions. And it is like a fundamental freedom that like we take for granted in most, I guess, quote unquote, free countries. But I do believe that it does have limitations.
Okay, well, you have to explain what you mean by that. Yeah, do you have some...
Sure, I think... Yes, absolutely, I can explain myself. I think that, like, even though it is, the norm within most Western liberal democracies to have, some basic freedom of speech, I think there is a strong consensus, like throughout the West. Of course, there are exceptions, mainly the US, in my opinion. I think that certain forms of speech should be banned, and I think lots of people agree that, like, for example, child pornography is legally reprehensible, even in countries like the United States, in which, you know, even very extreme. For sure. Go ahead.
How does child pornography relate to freedom of speech?
I mean, in my humble opinion, like, being able to create content online is a form of speech. Being able to create videos on YouTube is a form of speech. So I would argue that, like, child pornography is a form of speech.
Well, I think we're talking about, child pornography would be a category of really a crime. So, you know, you're not free to commit crime. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't think.
Okay, I'll extend an olive branch here, right? So, threatening someone, right? Even threatening someone is also a crime.
Yes,
right?
inciting to violence.
Yeah. So, yeah. So pretty much there is laws against certain things.
I wonder if it would be useful to kind of talk about freedom of speech in terms of, you know, having the freedom to insult someone, to say something that another person might find offensive, for example. What do you think about that?
I mean, if you made the other person aggravated, or you got aggravated yourself, you have more of the right to insult somebody. If you just walk back and do whatever you want, I don't feel like that's the perfect way to do it, because you're going to inflict your own feelings onto somebody else that hasn't done anything. So it's better if you just cuss somebody out instead of putting it onto somebody else. But also with freedom of speech, you have more of the right to say whatever you want, but there's some restrictions that you don't want to say. That's what I feel.
I somewhat agree with that. I would say that, like, there is like regardless of the context, there will always be limitations on speech, and like I guess regardless of like how much you believe that like free speech should be I guess like ultimate, there should be like no, like even people who like believe in I guess a radical definition of what free speech is do believe in like some form of limitations. Like I know there are like defamation laws, for example, like you can't defame somebody in a public context on TV, for example. And like in my home country of Belgium, certain extreme forms of hate speech are not allowed. They're like legally reprehensible. And yeah, of course, like these like limitations vary like from one society to the other, from one country to the other. But like there's always limitations. You can't have like 100%, mechanism of free speech.
So who imposes those limitations, and is it still freedom of speech when you have those restrictions?
Could you please repeat that?
Yeah, I told who imposes those restrictions on freedom of speech, and will it still be freedom of speech, like when you have all those restrictions burdened?
Well, usually it's the state. We pass, legislation on what is considered.
Isn't freedom of speech a tool used to criticize the state? And when state is the one who's making all the laws, and the lawmakers use, the laws to abuse citizens, do not express their opinions. So that's what's happening right now.
I do have a rebuttal for that, though. There's a difference between the state limiting your speech to criticize the state and the state limiting your speech to, for example, incite to violence. Like those are two different things. Obviously, like you have countries that like attack the media and like do not allow for like independent free journalists to criticize the policies that are put in place by a specific government. Then, like, if, for example, the state enjails a journalist that has been critical of, like, some of its policies, then yes, that is, like, an attack of the state towards free speech. Whereas I would argue that, like, restricting, like, certain, like, incitement to violence, for example, that is not the state abusing its power of, like, restricting people's speech.
Yeah, but you are giving this the government power to decide what you can and cannot utter. And as for inciting violence, that could be anything. By insulting the government, if people decide to listen to your talk and decide to go and protest, that could also be considered inciting violence, right?
Ooh, I think that's arguable. I feel like I guess it obviously depends, but like legally speaking, an incitement to violence is like something very explicit. It's like, hey, like you're literally encouraging somebody to go like harm somebody. Like it's very explicit in its language.
Okay,
it's
so
not something
threat.
that's. Mm-hmm.
A threat. Yeah. Okay. In that context, yeah, sure. Get it.
What if, okay, let me present a fresh perspective on it. So recently in France there has been an attack on a teacher, and I don't really know a lot about it, but he drew some kind of art on Prophet Muhammad of the Islamic faith, and has been thoroughly criticized by the Islamic community, and he was
that's
beheaded
vandalism.
by some, infidels. And so, do you consider that freedom of speech? Because in Quran, they say you shouldn't draw any portraits of the Prophet Muhammad. But you're from another faith. Are you free to do so? And can it still be considered freedom of speech?
This is all
Personally-
about opinions. There's no
Yeah.
correct opinion about that. It's all everybody's opinion. There's no way of a correct answer. I mean,
Yeah, I agree.
overall is that it is vandalism, but I don't really want to get into religion that much because it's a very sensitive topic.
I would personally argue that like it's disrespectful, but like they should not be prohibited from like drawing stuff like that.
Yeah, because as religions, sometimes I don't know. Sometimes it's not related with opinion people. So I think bring religion to this. Yeah.
What I'm trying to
say. Yeah, no.
Whether
Sorry to
Okay.
intercept.
Okay. All right. Okay. So you guys don't want to get into religion, so I'll try to ask a fresh question, right? You guys think that social media platforms, right, should have the power to ban people or censor people on the name of misinformation or hate speech?
Yes, because
Yes.
social media platforms are private businesses and they have the right to have like terms of services. And like obviously, social media platforms work on an like advertisement way of making profit. So like if there are people on those platforms that are going to scare away advertisers, then to me it seems perfectly reasonable that like those platforms will establish guidelines to prevent like misinformation or the spread of like really extreme radical ideas. And like obviously social media platforms are private entities, they're not the state. So
Yes, but it's a public form, and usually what happens in public entities is the public does have some right, and you aren't supposed to really discriminate, right? But the terms on that is really vague, and I guess the thing I'm trying to bring up is Twitter has been censoring a lot of conservatives that talked about the vaccine, which ended up being true, right, as misinformation, and this was directly because CDC gave them a guideline. And multiple times they've banned certain political news, which was true, to overturn elections and do so and so, right?
Would you
So
guys,
what my point is,
like extended time? Would you like more time, guys? Because we're running out of time.
yeah, sure.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, sure.
Okay. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Also,
Do you guys want me to go into the specifics or just be vague? Which one?
Just go
You
into
want to
the
go into the
specifics.
specific?
All right.
Sure.
Just go on to the specific one.
Okay, sure. So, during the 2020 election in America, right? Biden's son had dealings with Ukraine and other various countries, and there was massive reports about this and his emails being leaked. So, Twitter journalist, a journalist specifically on the right side, decided to report on this in Twitter, and also the White House press secretary at the time also reported this, and all of their accounts got suspended, right? And what ended up happening was after the election was done, they unbanned them, and Twitter publicly apologized, saying it was a mistake. Then there was a survey done that found out that almost for Biden voters, almost 10% would have voted for Trump if they had known about this information sooner, and most of them did use Twitter. The other example that is happening right now is that because Trump said that it is possible that the election was fraud, he's going on doing audits and stuff, right? So there was 4 audit accounts reporting all the audit news on Twitter, and all of them got suspended on the basis of misinformation. And the same happened with the COVID when people talked about COVID coming from potentially a lab that was shut down as a conspiracy theory. But now every evidence is suggesting that it did come from that lab. What I'm trying to say is that Twitter and other social media platforms is kind of censoring what we can know, what we are allowed to say, and pretty much controlling our environments, our politics, and what we know.
Well, it all boils down to what you consider evidence, because you see concretely, the WHO team went there to Beijing and they declined the facilities, and they tried to push their narrative across to the World Health Organization. So that is true. But we don't really see any concrete evidence, except those tabloids which post random stuff. And we still see a lot of New York Times articles criticizing and writing reports on, saying, yeah, it's from a lab in China, in Wuhan. But none of them were concrete. And the Ukraine...
No, Safai, the point is the concrete evidence that was there was wiped out, right? And every audit log shows that every information we had from whistleblowers that in China reported, which are dead now, by the way. There was this one lady, I forgot her name, so apologize for that. But they're dead, and the information that we got was wiped out from US servers, right? And the other, I don't want to get into this topic because it's going to change into another COVID debate. But what I'm saying is,
it's an English lesson,
so
guys.
This is going to get real bad.
So what I'm trying to say is, do you guys think that social media should have the power to decide what is misinformation, decide what is a conspiracy theory, and censor them, and pretty much control our political environment, control pretty much all of our lives, right? And change a country for the better or worse?
I would personally say to some extent, because I feel like there are instances in which there's objective truth. You can always have independent fact checkers. You can always have stuff that is measured empirically. You can there are always examples of I guess context in which you can verify information in a somewhat objective way. For example, spreading misinformation concerning the outcome of the 2020 US presidential election, when we have how's it called, solid evidence that there was no presence of widespread voter fraud. And yes,
that's what the audits show right now in Pennsylvania. What are you talking about?
So instead of finding the forms, they can just
okay, guys.
show a disclaimer that
let's
information might not be correct.
I got another question. How do we get from...
that makes most...
I don't want to get into the whole subject of
because you're stating
the elections were in the US.
Because you're stating that there is objective truth in certain things, and I agree that there could be objective truth and we can find it. But what I'm saying is these fact checkers are most of the time biased, and they are running a narrative, and they're going to try and ban that, right? They don't necessarily have any concrete evidence saying that.
I somewhat agree with that. But here's the thing: an independent fact checker whose sole job is to be impartial will always have some implicit inherent biases. I completely agree with that, but they would still have less biases than partisan I guess people.
Okay, I'll extend an olive branch, right?
Okay, I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds. We're out of time, but just wrap it up.
Okay. So for your thing about them being maybe unbiased or biased, right? I'll give you a straight example. So multiple media outlets that are primarily left-wing reported that they had this data from some organization that we haven't heard of, claiming that, and they had some sort of evidence, I suppose, but it was debunked later on. But what it suggested was that during the BLM riots and every protest that happened during early and late 2020 did not fasten the spread of COVID, right? They claimed that, and these news outlets published that, and they didn't get taken down for misinformation, right? But then there was a Capitol riot in Jan 6th, right? And there was multiple news outlets claiming that because of that one day's riot of 100 people participating, there was a massive spike in COVID cases, right? And that was also backed up by some data that was debunked that hour itself. And that didn't get taken down. So it is pretty clear that, Twitter is leaning left and it is censoring most of the time right-wing people, and they are biased to some extent. So should we be giving them that much power to censor what we are allowed to say?
Thank you so much. And on that note, I have to end it because we're really out of time, guys. You could talk about this forever. But... All right.
Okay.
I have
okay.
one.
Yes.
I'll try to put it in 5 seconds. So basically, what I think is the Twitter and all these social media platforms, they should just let people decide for themselves. So they shouldn't uncensor any accounts ultimately. They should just give a disclaimer saying that, okay, this information might not be correct, so get it fact checked, and maybe don't believe in it or believe in it. It's up to you. They can just do that instead of just outrightly leaning left and showing their biases out loud so grossly.
I agree.
Yes. Thank you so much, guys. Well, this was amazing. Thank you. Yes. Big round of applause. That was our round 2, but we're not done yet because let's ask our summarizer, Barney. Are you still here, Barney?
Of course I am.
Okay, Barney. Can you maybe...
I'm going to summarize about what happened in the beginning and the end.
Sure.
Because we did go a little bit off topic.
Yes, that's right.
We were supposed to stick on the topic of freedom of speech and how it is important to everybody. We went into politics and religion, which is both very sensitive topics, and I hate talking about it, which that's the reason why I wasn't much involved. I mean, most people were pretty neutral about it. Most people were happy, wrong word. Most people were agreeing to freedom of speech, which is, I agree to it as well. It's like something that everybody needs, but there's an extent to it. That's what everybody said. But with the last thing about social media platforms just blocking out stuff, it got into politics, which is the 2020 election with everybody, which is just, I didn't really like it, but it went to it. They limit to speech. And if you want me to stop?
No, I just summary, right? You mentioned 2 points, and the second point is you say that. What I mean is a summary is not really a judgment or an opinion. It's just a summary. What it is just raising the points that were highlighting the points that were raised. So thank you for that. I'm not cutting you off, by the way. It's just saying that a summary is not necessarily an opinion, right?
I kind of went too far with it.
No, that's great. That's great. Awesome. Thank you so much.
I'd actually like to give a reply to Bernie, right? So, Bernie, I understand where you don't want to go into that, but I think we can agree that freedom of speech most of the time is prevalent to politics, right? In a way, because that's where it kind of changes our life, so, yeah.
I strongly agree with Konda. I think the subject of freedom of speech is inherently political.
Yeah,
I see.
It's political.
Well, I was hoping to keep this discussion more on the philosophical level and on the idea of the principles and human rights. So the idea of freedom of speech, should people be basically free to speak their mind, and even if it means a freedom to, let's say, offend another person or not, right? So I mean that's the questions are geared toward that. But anyway, let me just ask you, participants, how did you do, like in terms of the discussion itself? I believe some of you are perhaps not learners of English, but maybe even native speakers of English. So, but it's still a great exercise for you to be a part of an academic discussion. How did you guys do? Maybe you can mention something that you're proud of, that you did well. And then what do you think you need to work on in order to be a better communicator when it comes to these different roles that you were assigned? Who would like to go first? Hello?
I guess I could go.
Yeah, go ahead, Mr. A.
I think sometimes, like when I try to get a point across, I might like stutter or find trouble wording my sentences the way I want them to be worded to like have more impact with, you know, my arguments and rhetoric and that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I think that's like the main thing I should improve on.
Mm-hmm. But what did you do well? What did you do well? Because let's focus on highlight that too, okay? What did you do well?
I think I managed to mention like all of the like major points I wanted to mention concerning this topic.
Very good. Very good. I'm glad to hear that. Yes, so don't be hard on yourself. Please mention the positive. Don't just let's acknowledge everyone's efforts here. Anyone else would like to share?
Okay, I'd like to go now.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Sapphire.
So I really liked how the discussion basically went, because when we really talk about free speech, all we're talking about is how it influences other people's opinions. Free speech, we're trying to influence others to get them to agree with us, and we're trying to push our ideologies across. So it's really basically politics at that point. And religion is a bit too sensitive. I do agree, and I apologize for going that far. But regardless, and it was a great debate. And the thing I was good at was basically agreeing. Today I didn't really bring up a lot of points, so I should have researched more. I didn't do that. I could have improved by perhaps reading more about free speech, etc. I'm more into these philosophical debates, and I don't really have a lot of empirical data to talk about. I didn't really prepare for it, so I apologize.
Don't apologize. No. This is not about apology, Sapphire.
And also a big round of applause for Mr. A and Konda. You guys were great.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, I think, Sapphire, you shouldn't be so hard on yourself. I think you were great with raising the points. The point that, they're bringing up religion and politics, there's nothing wrong with that. You were just showing examples, and I think they're relevant. It's just we have to be careful that we are still sticking to the topic. So you're using those points as examples. This is not going to be our main topic of discussion, obviously, but I don't think it was wrong to bring them up. So yes, because it's directly related, right? These are directly related issues. Okay, great. Well, thank you so much, guys. I was really impressed with this second round. If you don't mind, I'll offer a bit of a feedback from the teacher, guys. Feedback from the teacher. So I think, guys, the discussion was great overall. I think it was on topic. Most of the discussion was. You guys were able to clearly some excellent points were raised. The purpose of freedom of speech, and someone raised the issue that freedom of speech also includes this freedom to criticize the state. So how can state be regulating the limitations and so on? So those issues were really interesting, and were clearly communicated, supported with examples. If I could just improve things, it's hard for us to separate the topic from ourselves and our emotional involvement. So we just need to be careful that we try and do our best. And I think things did not get ugly. You guys stayed civil, and which was amazing. I was really glad to see that. It's just that if we could stick closer to the topic, which is the idea of freedom of speech, whether society should be granted that, or is it actually inherent freedom, human freedom to do that or not, that would have been a little bit better. But overall, I think it was an amazing discussion, and I really thank all participants for just making it happen. That was great, guys. Good job.
Thank you.
Good job. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you.
All right. And for all of you listening, I see the room is full of people listening. That's great. Don't go away, because we are going to go into a round 3 in just a hot second. Round 3. So I'll be asking you to raise your hand in just a minute. But first of all, let me once again bring up the channel. So if you want to support what we're doing and help the channel grow, Please follow us on Twitch, follow us on YouTube. There are ways that you can actually help to make this stream better and afford me with more time for doing research and preparing for classes. So you can become a regular member, supporter. You can also book a private lesson if you want. If you're a teacher, you can book me to do a workshop in your classroom or for other instructors at whatever institution on how to teach online. Please follow the social media links and please look at the schedule. There's a schedule of classes, so you can check it out. This schedule will be adjusted to your time zone for your convenience. So check out the upcoming times when I'm live. And a big shout out again to our English Hub, where we are actually live right now. And if you want to be a part of these lessons in the future, make sure you sign up with the English Hub. It's free. If you don't know what Discord is, it's an app that you download to your phone or your computer, and it just allows you to communicate with people from all around the world. The English Hub is an amazing place to meet friends, to meet people from around the world, practice your English skills, and of course access these excellent resources. All right, everyone. And now, round 3. Raise your hand. And let's bring up the wheel of names, and we're going to ask volunteers for our round 3 of discussions. All right, who would like to participate in this round of discussions? I would encourage our members. They have the priority. We have 50 people online listening to us. So if you're a member on this server, please raise your hand and let's get involved. Okay, we have Chui Mui. Hello, would you like to be a part of this discussion? Hello, Chui Mui.
I think Sam joined, not Chewy Mui. Yeah.
Okay, where's Sam? I don't see Sam's request.
Sam.
Zan.
Zan.
Okay, Zan.
Zan.
Hello, Zan.
Zan.
Okay, Zan. Would you like to be part of this discussion, Zan? Hello, Zan.
Left.
Oh, okay. Well, we need volunteers. Of course, if there are none, I can bring out people from previous rounds. That would be great.
Yeah, I'm willing to join.
K3 has been asked to unmute themselves, but they haven't yet. Mao, hello Mao. Would you like to be a part of this discussion? Hello, Mao. Mao, yes.
Yeah.
Hi, Mao. Would you like to be a part of this discussion on free speech?
Sure.
Okay, Mao. Thank you so much for volunteering. Great. We are live on twitch.tv/EnglishSpot. Who else would like to be a part of this discussion? Please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none, maybe we can also... Oh, Tarek, how about you, Tarek? Would you like to be a part of this discussion?
James Darrell.
Tarek, we're just testing your equipment. Could you speak for a second and let us know if your mic is working?
Okay.
So, Tarek,
my name is Muhammad.
Okay, you seem to be cutting off a little bit. Can you speak a bit longer? Would you be would you like to take part in this discussion? Please confirm.
Yeah. What about this discussion?
Okay, well, this is about freedom of speech. The questions are on the screen. If you are on Twitch, my channel, click on my profile and you will see the links to our live channels right now, either twitch.tv or YouTube. Tarek? Okay, I'm putting you down. Tarek, you'll be part of this discussion then. All right, and then all of you in the room, would you like to take part in this discussion again?
Yes, I killed George Floyd.
Okay, sorry, who spoke right now? Okay, so let's do the third round. Will be a little bit different, but everyone who is unmuted right now will be able to participate equally. We just need to select a leader who would like to maybe volunteer to be the leader.
Me. Please, I want to be leader.
Who is that? And?
Yes, please.
Okay, and are you watching the Twitch channel right now? Can you see the questions on the screen?
Yes.
All right, everyone. So, okay, so let me bring them up again.
Is there any more room?
Is there any more room? Yes. Well, basically, we have whoever is unmuted right now. It's End. Gun Grammier can join if he wants to. Noya, Sapphire, Mao, and Tarek. All of you guys.
Okay.
All of you guys can participate equally. The questions are on the screen, and we have End as our leader. And are you looking at the questions right now?
No, I'm doing something.
Oh, some guy left.
Oh, somebody left.
Someone left. Yeah.
Okay, but I think we have 6 participants, and there are some
He's back.
others. For example, we have Lifa. Hello, Lifa. Would you like to be a part of this discussion? Afifa Lifa.
Hi.
Hi, Afifa. Would you like to be a part of this discussion on free speech?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, excellent. And we also have James Darrell. James Darrell. James Darrell, would you like to be a part of this discussion? You have to unmute yourself.
Excuse me,
James
can I
left.
say something?
Who is this? Who wants to say something?
I want to say that everyone should say anything that he wants to say. But if you won't say that, you will hurt the other.
Okay, well, let's wait, Tarek. This is a good point. We're going to bring in more people in, unmute their microphones, and see how it goes. Okay.
This is my first time again. It's going to be interesting.
Okay, James Darrell, is your microphone working? Would you like to be a part of this discussion on free speech?
Yes.
Excellent. So,
Sir, can you?
Yes,
Sir,
James. Speak,
I'm
please.
so nervous.
Are you nervous? Okay, James,
Yes.
what I need you to do is go to twitch.tv/EnglishSpot to basically click on my profile. You will see the links where we are live on twitch.tv/EnglishSpot, where questions are displayed for your convenience. All right, guys. I think we're going to start right now.
Sir.
What was that? I couldn't hear you. Sorry. Okay, we don't want to keep everyone waiting. Let's get started, guys. The topic is free speech, and this time I'll give probably a little bit more time as we go along. And you are the leader. Please take it away. Time is... wait a second. Let's go, guys. Time start.
Let's go.
And
all right.
Well, I think we lost the leader, and so.
He's here. He's here. No.
Okay.
He's here. He's here.
Yes, but he's not doing his job.
Mic is muted.
Oh yes, I see. Okay,
So,
go ahead, Gun. Must be late for you where you are, but just you want to direct this discussion? Go ahead.
Yeah, sure.
End is talking. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
And
No.
your mic is muted.
Oh yes. No, my cousin is this.
Okay, well, you should talk to your cousin instead then. Thank you, And, for participating. And now, Gun Grammier is going. Gun Grammier is going to take it away. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll lead the question.
Sure.
Go ahead.
I think I would for me, I think I would like to start with the commented question by Latoya. I'll read the question.
Yes.
Many big platforms such as YouTube and Discord require user to agree to community guidelines to gain access, which has terms limited speech that they consider toxic or
unsuitable.
Unsuitable. An example of this is harassment, hate speech, cyberbullying, etc. For their environment, do you think this is a violation of free speech? Why or why not? Like the first discussion, I believe that free speech is good, and free speech is good. We all have we can all freely talk about our feelings, but there is a limit. You could talk about your feelings to an extent. In cases like big platforms, violating free speech, I think it's not violating free speech. Community guidelines is concerning terms limited speech is not a violation of free speech, but it in a social standpoint, this is a very bad look for the platform. So I think they're only just trying to save image and make their platform more comfortable for people Discord. Like if it's filled with hate speech and like slurs everywhere, like do you think people would like use your platform? So I think it's more of a for the companies saving image and for making their platforms more accessible, and more people would use it more often. So yeah, that's my point of view. So
I'd like to add to that.
Sure.
Yes. We need more involvement, guys, from the group, guys.
So yeah, how about you, Lafifa? You said you want to add something.
Okay, thank you. So my take on free speech is that when it's in person and people are discussing with each other in person in real life, then they have the right to say whatever they want. I mean, as heinous as it might be, as awful as it might be, they have the right to say whatever they please.
Sorry about that.
Let's go.
There's some noise happening there.
English palette.
Yes.
Jack, can you mute Ayaan?
Nayan, yes.
And please mute your mic.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Please
So-
continue, Lafifa.
Yes, thank you.
Okay. So, as I was saying, if it's in person discussion, then I believe that they have the right to say whatever they please, as heinous as it might be, they have that right. But when it's in a public platform on the internet, like YouTube or anything like that, then I believe that that app or platform has the right to decide what is community guidelines, decide what is not community guidelines, and then ban people accordingly if they violate the terms and restrictions and if they violate the community guidelines. But in person, when people are discussing in person, I believe they should be able to say whatever they want. And I also believe that others should be able to respond accordingly to that speech.
Okay. Thank you for the opinion. How about you, Kontha?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so yeah, you are right. You know, it is a private company, so they do have their terms of rights, but you also have to realize it's a public forum, and there's two gray lines I see here. It is either you take responsibility for misinformation that happens in your platform that you didn't censor, even though you were reported to, or you don't censor any at all and just leave an information saying it is misinformation, or ban people for targeted harassment specifically. Most platforms don't do that, right? They have a special narrative and they're chasing after that because they are invested usually in a certain political party or whatever it is, right?
Okay.
My point is, when you give a massive platform where everyone is talking, where your entire livelihood could change, right, over a decade or two, and you give them the power to decide what is misinformation, decide what is hate speech, and pretty much censor if it is political leaders, someone that of influence, anyone, right, for that matter. usually leads to an authoritarian society, right? Usually, I feel like that
Well-
is only going to lead to harm.
Well, I would like to counter to that. So,
Okay. Please go.
Alright.
Live FIFA.
all right. So, as I said, in person, I don't believe that speech should be restricted if it's in person, because I definitely believe that it would be sort of an authoritarian thing if the speech in America was restricted when people are talking to each other in person and trying to raise discussion with each other. I believe that it would be an ultra authoritarian move to try and control what people say to each other in real life, discussing with each other. But I don't believe that it's an authoritarian thing for a public platform on the internet, the owner of that platform, to decide on their own community guidelines, because they're the ones who are in charge of running that platform, deciding what is hate speech or misinformation or whatever it is, cyberbullying. They're the ones who are in charge of running that platform. Therefore, they get to decide what is allowed and not allowed on their own platform.
It's can you mute your mic?
Oh, sorry, brother.
Please mute your mic. This is like the fourth time you've been echoing on us. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So you do have So you do have a point, but my point is that it is a public entity, and to some extent, when it is a public entity, right? They do have some favor to the public, and legally speaking, in most countries, you aren't allowed to discriminate on certain things, right? And it could also be tied to values. So.
Okay, guys, I'm just looking at the time. Maybe you want to move on to another question or something?
Okay.
Sure.
Okay, let's move on to another question. Any question suggestion, guys? Number question 1 to 5. I think I have
Number three.
Number three is a great question, guys.
Okay.
Number 3. Let's move. Let's
The
go.
number 3 question is
K3, hello K3.
It's okay. I muted K3. It shouldn't be a problem now. Okay, thank you.
Question number 3. Many countries censor information available on the internet and in the media to control what their citizens can and cannot access. Can censorship be dangerous? Support your view. So I think the people who haven't talked yet is Noya. What's your take on this question? What's your take on this question? Question number 3.
The question, okay, in my opinion, many countries censor information available on the internet and the media control what their citizens can and cannot access. Can censorship be dangerous? I think censorship is not be dangerous, because there will be some violation in every country sometimes. Yeah, so that's I think censorship is really good at all, because it's really support everything and importantly to be limited something, because freedom is not really good at all. Sometimes we need to be limited. So I think our freedom, we need to be limited something. That's why I think censorship is one of the support things to make I think freedom, it can be limited, don't be like more or over, don't be over. Okay, that's my opinion.
I see.
Can you repeat the question, please?
So the question is that many countries censor information in the internet and in media to control what their citizens can and cannot see. Can censorship be dangerous? Support your view.
So my take on that is, if the country's government is being involved in that kind of thing, what's allowed to be said on the internet, then I don't agree with that if the country's government is involved. But if it's just the owner or the CEO of the app that is restricting what's being said, misinformation, hate speech, whatever. If it's the CEO or the owner of that app that's restricting the speech, then I believe that it should be allowed for them to
What
do
if the
that. But I
CEO
don't
is
think
applying to
it's
one political
the.
party?
Well,
Wait, what?
excuse me. What, Sapphire? You were saying something?
Yeah, I just said, what if the owner is being paid by the government and the government is telling him to do what should be
The
done?
owner,
So,
the owner or the CEO being paid by the government does not mean that the owner is a part of the government. If there is a part of the government, a member of the government that's controlling what's being said on the internet, then that should not be allowed. But if the owner is separate from the government, then that should be allowed.
when we're talking about censoring of the information, all that we care about is the final product, right? So what if your government is trying to push across a narrative that an ethnic minority in your country is dangerous when it's actually not, and let's
Well,
say you have Facebook in your country.
Then I believe that the owner, if that is being done, then I believe that the owner of the platform should be responsible for
Okay.
restricting that kind of speech, because it's obviously hate speech, and the owner should be responsible for that. So
I see.
Okay, I'd like to weigh in really quick, and I
Sure,
completely disagree with you, Noya, because here's the thing, right? So I'm from India, right? And currently the problem
From
happening is
Indonesia,
yeah. So in India, a huge problem that is happening is the government is completely censoring everything. So what is happening is they have massive shares in almost every media in India, so they don't talk about anything they don't want to, and the only source of information we really had for actual protests happening and actual violence against citizens happening was in Twitter and in other social medias, right? And what ended up happening was Twitter started to bend to the government because they started to raid Twitter offices and other offices because they didn't comply. And now they're sending proxies to take down any tweet and anything against the ruling party right now. And what is happening is that there's people protesting in my state itself, and they get beat up the hell, and none of that gets reported. No one knows about it because it's all censored. And something that recently just happened just a few months ago was that there was an actress that
I'm just letting you know you're getting extra 3 minutes because time is running out.
All right, sure. So this actress insulted our chief minister, and what ended up happening was literally 3 days later she got arrested. So I'm definitely not a fan about all this stuff that's happening in my area right now, and censorship definitely doesn't lead to good. It always leads to authoritarian government. So yeah, censorship is terrible.
That's why I believe that the government should not have a part in censoring what the internet is saying, what people on public platforms on the internet are writing. I believe that the government should not have a part in censoring that, but the owner of that platform should be able to do that. Just not the country's government.
But I believe that neither the owner should also have the right to decide what is misinformation, because I think in a free world, the citizens or the people should have the right to look at any information they want and decide what is right or what is morally
do you
in their
think
compass.
that you should have the right to harass someone publicly?
Sapphire, what do you say?
What?
I just said, do you think people should have the right to harass someone publicly in a free world?
No.
Okay, so
that
legally speaking, the only action is only taken if you harass them constantly. It's called targeted harassment, and that's the only time law enforcement would take charge, right? And that is only if you actually threaten them with violence of killing them or hurting them.
I see.
In that case, it is totally fine. Yeah.
The reason why I'm in the favor of the owner dictating what is right and not right on their own platform is because they're the ones who are in charge of running that platform, running that app on the internet, and I believe that their terms and restrictions and guidelines community guidelines should be respected since they're the ones who are in charge of the app. They created it, and I believe that they do have the rights to that app.
I see.
I mean, I'm
interesting.
Okay, well,
you got your
Leaf,
point across. But
last minute.
Yeah, the marketing.
Leaf, I'd like to ask you a simple question, right?
Yeah.
I'd like to ask you a simple question. Let's say there was
Okay.
let's say there was a purple race in our society, right? And if few restaurants or other barbershops or something along those lines didn't allow to cut hair or serve people that were purple, are you fine with that? Because they are the owners, right?
I mean, it's their business.
If
It is their business.
If the owner or the CEO of that platform has those kinds of beliefs, as heinous as this might sound, the purple race,
the purple race.
I don't believe that they should be on a platform in which the owner denies their existence.
Right. Okay.
But-
Okay. Accept your
Okay, but
agreement,
here's
but
the thing. Can I?
Sure. Toast.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I've been listening to this,
It's okay.
and I just can't help to think that although you're for the owners of this app, will say, is okay to have all the guidelines they want, and which is true, but you're okay with them being possibly bought out by the government to push their values onto their platform. I don't see the logic, and I don't understand why you would not.
Okay, hold on. I like to correct a few things. So usually with social media, what ends up happening is they don't buy out the government. The government doesn't buy them out. What ends up happening is the media companies would lobby and buy politicians, and they would try to push their narrative so they can get these officials elected, so they can help.
Right.
In return, in favor, help the
That's what I'm
the
saying.
platform.
Like I don't see why she's like, I'm so sorry. I just don't understand seeing one side of the coin and then turning over and saying, oh, but that's okay because they own this. I personally see it's a flip of a coin. You're okay with one app, but maybe not the other, because guess what? They believe they were bought out by one company, but not the other. I just personally, I'm just seeing it at one side. I've been just listening. That's my piece.
Okay.
Yeah, I've opposed the government being involved in those kinds of things. I've generally went against when the government tries to restrict the things that are said on the internet. I don't believe it's the government's job to be involved in that.
I think that was
an obvious
I think that's
bias.
what we were saying. I think that's what we were saying. Usually, what ends up happening in political, in social media is that they censor people on the name of hate speech or misinformation, and they target specific people so they can get whichever political party they're in favor with elected, so they can in return the favor. That's kind of what we're talking about, right? And that's what ends up usually happening.
Yeah, I
The
don't
problem
believe
is, but the
that.
problem is, they market themselves as public, right? So it's basically like city gates. You can basically do whatever they want. So it's basically
Exactly, yeah.
under the law. Yeah. So people should be able to express their opinions freely, unless it's a heavily moderated thing and it doesn't market itself as people's platform. So in that case, owner doesn't really have any right to censor you, because it's not a social media platform. It's rather a curated media.
I need to cut you off. On that note, I need to cut you off. By the way, I am not curbing the free speech, but I am in control of this lesson. So I'm just looking. I'm just looking at the time, and I'm sure you.
Right.
You could be talking about this forever. I know, but it was really well done. Yeah, but I am cognizant of the time, and it is dragging on. But amazing discussion, excellent points. Big round of applause. And now, who would like to summarize maybe two points that were raised during this round, our round of discussions? Anybody who would like to volunteer?
I think the people who haven't yet spoken
Yes.
during the discussion.
Who would like to just mention what was interesting to
Okay,
you?
I'd like to go. So, Conda came out this idea called the public entities. So he basically started by specifying that these things are public entities and they fall under the law of what is made for these things. And then Afifa Leafa started opposing him, saying owners should have the right to do whatever they want because they founded it and it's their hard work. And then Sapphire and a few others started, talking with some illustrations about like the purple race and whether racism is kind of tacitly allowed on these platforms like bias. And still the view was not changed, and at the end we were split up, and that's it. And Toasty was surprised by that view, and she started to argue with her own point of view, and she agreed with Conda's opinion. And that's how the conversation went.
Well, very good. That was awesome.
If there a point that didn't get much attention.
Okay.
So there was a point that didn't get much attention, and it's just the fact that free speech, a part of free speech, is that people are allowed to say what they want, right? But other people are also allowed to respond to that. So freedom of speech does not mean protection from backlash or protection from responses. People are allowed to respond accordingly when a person says something.
Yes, very good point. And of course, that response can only happen when there is freedom of speech, right? So
if there's a
very good.
If there's a purple guy out there and I offended you, I apologize. Okay.
Okay. Yes, yes.
Jack,
We love purple.
Jack, can I bring up a point?
Okay. We're just winding this down, but go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, like the point that I wanted to bring up here is that both Koda and Leafa pointed that the government should not be involved in censorship. But
yes,
have you ever questioned that? Why a government censor?
Because that's authoritarian. Because that's just
it's an
yeah.
I mean, there are information that the government needed to censor to.
Yes. No, I believe that the owners. I believe that the owners of the app should be responsible.
I think we're not talking about.
Yeah, I mean, okay. I think hold on. I know what Gun is saying. I think he's talking about like military stats or whatever, right? And that information we shouldn't be knowing. And for that, there is a solution. It's called the Information Act. So what ends up happening is anything that happened right now, anything that happened in the military right now will be published 80 years later. That's how it works.
Okay, guys, I think we need to separate certain issues. Like, for example, when it comes to country security, of course, government has the right to censor information. That is in the laws of every country. But we're not talking about that. We're not talking about divulging some security information in open public forums. That is the government is definitely watching for such a thing and stops it right whenever they can. But and it's a crime.
Hold on. That responsibility that the government holds, it should be handed down to the owners of the app. The owners should have that responsibility purely to them, because if the government is censoring things on the internet, then that's an authoritarian move.
So are you saying the US are authoritarian?
It's all right.
Okay, hold on. Okay, we're confusing a lot of things. So with military, especially, that is information, right, that the government has. They don't have to share it with anyone. When we're talking about censorship, we're talking about specifically the government censoring certain individuals or groups or organizations because, they don't like them or they don't feel like they're going to do any good. Whatever the reason is, that is what censorship is.
I think one of the words you want to use is suppression of certain information.
Yeah.
Okay.
The time for
You see, I was hoping we would solve world's problems in our English class, but it didn't happen. It didn't happen. So we just have to revisit this topic.
Yeah, I think we should revisit this topic in the future as well.
Yes, because I thought we would all walk away.
On the Discord stage.
Right. Yeah,
But
but
yeah,
I think
I really apologize if I took too much time.
No,
on stage.
listen, it's good. It's good.
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
I also apologize for that.
No, why are you guys apologizing? I don't get this. You
This is
don't need
about
to
discuss.
apologize.
Everyone, I think, is important.
Yes, every opinion is important, and that's the reason why we're here. We're practicing, putting arguments forward and supporting it with not evidence or examples, reasoning. Right? That's why we're here.
Yeah.
So you guys did really well. So I don't know if you want some feedback from me. I don't know if you care to hear it, but I'll just share it anyway.
We do.
Okay.
We do. We all do.
Feedback from the teacher. Really? Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah. Well, I think this third round of discussions was the most in depth and the most. I think it was rewarding. Don't you think so? Don't you think it's rewarding to be a part of?
Yeah, I think it was great.
To express your views and so on. And I think that's what I would like to instill in my students is this ability that, this feeling that, hey, I can actually impact someone's worldview. I can actually make a difference in the world by expressing my views. And I think that was
Discord
really
students.
Yes. Well, this is a class, right? We are here. I don't know if you are here for a lesson, but I am a teacher. And that's my desire is to actually instill these values.
Discord academic.
Yes, there you go. So I want to thank you for actually staying civil, and at the same time we had a little bit of a friction, and that's great as long as that friction is regarding the arguments themselves, right? Not individuals. And I think that is the key thing. And you see, it's that freedom of speech that we are just talking about that allows to have friction between these arguments that were expressed. So without freedom of speech, we would just be hearing one side of the story. So I think this in itself, the fact that we had friction but not against individuals, but against arguments raised, it shows that the value of freedom of speech seems to be inherent, right? That would be my conclusion from what I'm taking away from this lesson. But I want to applaud you guys on this amazing. You're just not, you are sticking to your view, and you're trying to use English to express your view in more succinct manner. Excellent, great. As a teacher, I'm really glad to see that. I don't know if it was useful or am I just rambling on, but I just want to give you
it's useful for me at least.
It's great. It's great to hear what other people think.
Yes, excellent. So one more time, a big round of applause to all of you. Thank you. All right, and we are going to probably revisit this topic at some point. So what I'd like you to do is just, I'm also open to suggestions. I'm open to suggestions, so please DM me suggestions for topics for our upcoming lessons. We are live 3 times a week, maybe more. If someone is willing to support this channel, I'll get more time to prepare and more time to teach online. So please check out the links that you can follow to be in touch with what's happening with English Palette. And of course, feel free to reach out to me on Discord, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time on English Palette here on the English Hub server. Join the server, by the way, guys, and thanks again to all participants, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next time, guys. Be well, have a great day, and bye for now.
You too, have a great day.
Bye, everybody. Have an awesome day.
Have a great day too.
Yes, bye. Great. Thank you, everybody.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.